Welcome into the breakdown. Great to have you joining us. Round 15 of Super Rugby is done and dusted, and our top 6 is confirmed. So what do the top 2 teams do in the final round of regular season? We're going to discuss that. Plus, we'll talk a couple of Kiwis in the European Cup final. And, of course, Will Beaver, he unpacks our 3 first fives in New Zealand at the moment. It'll be insights like you have never heard before. No pressure, Beef, no pressure. And as always, we want you to have your say. Scan that QR code. Send in all your questions and comments for the guys.
It's our last home game. We've got all our families and friends and those that have been with us since day one and supported us here on the shore.
Moana family here, thank you so much for supporting us.
Since joining the competition in 2022, Moana Pacifica have brought the heartbeat of the Pacific into Super Rugby Pacific. Leota! Oh, that is so good! Outstanding heads-up rugby by Moana Pacifica. It's kids round in Super Rugby Pacific.
It's kids round.
It is kids round. Crusaders back in front. And that might just be the moment that seals it for the Crusaders.
Brumbies walk away as winners. Still going, Josh Moorby. And Kavripi. Lovely delivery. And Naholo. And the Hurricanes will be the top qualifiers for the playoffs.
So they've got to get after it here, the Western Force. Keep their season alive. It pivots, and then Blasi pounds it in. Greeley, Lomas, try.
Oh, there's high-quality moments in Super Rugby Pacific every weekend, but once again, the Hurricanes remain the benchmark, don't they? Number 1, and no one can catch them now with a week to go. Jeff Wilson joins us on the program, Mills Muliaina and Stephen Donald. You're back from Christchurch. Now, how did the people of Christchurch treat you after all your wonderful comments over 60 Minutes last weekend?
Yeah, look, they respected what me and Mills had to say, that they are a threat in this competition, and the Crusaders responded themselves.
Listen to them. So there'll be much more Crusaders chat tonight.
Look, I loved my Friday trip down there. First time at the new stadium, and what a night, what a game. Unbelievable.
Millsy, you were in Wellington this weekend. Did you equally enjoy it?
I did. Can I add to that Christchurch? That's the threat the Crusaders bring, right? They won on the weekend, and Beaver and I were very smart to sort of point that out last week. But I was in Wellington, thoroughly enjoyed that. It was a great game with a lot of nickel.
Look, I had a great weekend. And look, I'm going to shout out Auckland FC. Let's do that first and foremost. Congratulations. Warriors are doing their job. Super Rugby for me took another step up because there was a lot more jeopardy involved. Christchurch was awesome. And I was at Albany for North Harbour Stadium, and I felt for Moana Pacifica because I thought they were going to get there. Another really, really good game of rugby. And the Reds were desperate and they needed it. And it was a great crowd, great atmosphere. Yeah, it was a tough place to be, given where they were at. I will say that. I was really proud of the performance they put out for their fans.
When you talk about jeopardy, I mean, the top 6 is locked in for Super Rugby, but it's actually all to play for still in the final round. Take a look at the table that we've got for you, because 1 and 2, they are set. So the Hurricanes and the Chiefs are locked in before next round. But if you take a look at the next 4 teams, any of them could finish anywhere, Jeff.
Yeah, and it's amazing. Look, we knew going into this weekend that the Hurricanes and Chiefs, we felt they knew where they were going to be. Where everyone else now, through 3 through 6, they know that they have something to play for this weekend, Mills. And if you went through all the permutations, it's too hard to understand. All you know is it could change significantly this next weekend.
Yeah, well, the biggie is after next week. It's who plays who. New Zealand teams could end up playing them each other in the quarterfinals. It could be a double up where the Blues could play the Chiefs 2 weeks in a row. It's that stuff, right? And then I know last year it came down to the final round to see who picked up those last few places. And this has, well, we've got the 6 locked in, but it's the placing of that 4, 5 and 6 that's going to be so important.
Yeah, we're going to go deep into the permutations and what we think the Chiefs and the Hurricanes will do in the New Zealand derbies next week. But first, I got to stand next to a GOAT last night, Christian Cullen, and he had some really, really strong thoughts on a couple of guys in the Hurricanes, Ruben Love and Josh Moorby.
But I think his option taken in general is really, really good. And when your outsides are scoring lots of tries, then the insides are doing the work, right?
So he's your team?
Well, absolutely. I think he is. Take him to South Africa, put him in there with the big dogs, see what happens. Yeah, counter-attack. I mean, I said Moorby, he'd look pretty good in a black jersey, wouldn't he? powerful, whether he was a winger or fullback. He's just got an eye for the try line there, and that there too. I mean, Griffey, I think he hurt his shoulder there as well, sliding in, but the pace of the man there as well. But Moorby definitely, his work rate is massive.
Well, there you go. You heard it from Christian Cullen. So we ask you at home on this poll. It's about to come up. We want you to scan that QR code, have your say on your shout and tell us, do you think Josh Moorby should be selected for the All Blacks? A few of you have already had your say. And look, 63% said yes, he deserves a shot. So, Millsy, we've heard from the GOAT. What do you think? Does he deserve a crack in the black jersey?
He's certainly putting his hand up. I think what he showed last night, and particularly when he sort of came out with the counter-attack, is his ability to be able to do that. Size up the moment. He's got plenty of speed. Kelly talked about his work rate as well. He manipulates that sort of defensive line because he's roaming around, and he came back early, and so. I mean, it's hard not to sort of look past where he can get to. He will have a bit of competition, but the other side of that, he does bring a little bit of, I suppose, versatility. Where does he fit in terms of the others? I think there's definitely competition in terms of an out-and-out wing beam, and that's probably where he could possibly miss out.
Yeah, I mean, last night, incredible performance, but as you say, like, for whom and who else was going to miss out? There's just so many at the moment putting their hand up, and I guess that's the great thing about the next couple of weeks is more derbies and knockout footy.
Luke from Wellington says Josh has proven before in 24 that he has the skills. On Saturday, he showed the switch from wing to fullback, didn't faze him at all. He'd be a great asset for the All Blacks off the bench as a utility player. His workload will help the All Blacks in the last 20 minutes. Thoughts?
I said a week ago that someone had an opportunity to play their way into the All Blacks over the next month, over the playoffs, and the teams that are alive and playing well are maybe going to help someone get in. That's where Josh Moorby sits right now. He's done some special things this season. I like the versatility. I think he can play both positions, 15 and on the wing, exceptionally well. Someone mentioned the fact there's a little bit of Ben Smith about him, the fact that he has high work rate. You saw the physicality, run strong, hard with the ball. I don't know about his top-end speed. It seems good to me. It seems as though it's enough. I think there's some recency bias in the poll because that happened last night.
Where do you think?
But personally, he's in a conversation. Look, I think there should be a fight for Whittinghanga and Offo again. I think that maybe we keep exploring that and see whether or not he's available. I think the whole landscape's changed with the loss of Caleb Tangatau. I think the out-and-out wing that we are looking for, and where does Will Jordan fit in the picture? And now he's picked up another niggle, which I hope is not serious. Does that mean the flexibility that Josh Moorby gives you that can play wing fullback, does that make the conversation around him? Because I think ideally you'd like the opportunity to have a 6-2 bench, and that means you'd like to have a wing who can play fullback. Yeah.
But with everything we've got already that we are presuming is going to get picked, do we need, like, I think Moorby, well and true in the conversation, but is his credentials literally just going to be as a winger? Because when you think you've got McKenzie, Bowden Barrett, Geordie Barrett, as far as 15s go, Will Jordan 15.
But as cover, though...
Yeah, but I mean, they're all probably in a game day 23 anyway. Well, three of them.
All three of them? No, I don't see it that way.
Well,
I don't see it that way. I don't see us picking all three.
Geordie, Will Jordan, Damien or Bodie. There's three of them.
Not the 3 first fives, I don't.
No, but those three
in the play. Yeah. But if Will Jordan's not... I'm just saying, if Will Jordan, for whatever reason, is not around, I think Josh Moorby fits the bill.
The one thing that he does sort of have that he's going to have to compete with is where Laidlaw puts him. Because, Harkin's there as well. I mean, so he doesn't, is he, Fahy is there as well. He's going to come back. Who's on the other side?
The Holo's not bad, eh?
That's the other issue too.
Well, I was just going to ask, look, the Ben Smith comment has come through from Bryce. He is Ben Smith 2.0. But how important was that performance for him, given what they've got right now? Is he going to stay at fullback? You'll have Kinney one side, Fahy the other, and Callum Harkin now drops to the bench because of that performance?
Yeah, I don't know if Harkin can be dropped because he wasn't playing.
Well, not dropped, but you know what I'm saying. That was an important performance for Josh Moorby.
Keeps his name there.
When there is some serious competition in the outsides for the Canes.
Absolutely. And Harkin's done absolutely nothing wrong. Like, he's been outstanding.
Yeah, I think Harkin's a nice bench option. If they decide to go down that path, Harkin can cover 10 as well because he did that job for them early in the season.
Well, that game last night illustrated that he is right there, right? And they often talk about opportunities. Harkin's not there. Look what Josh Moorby's done.
Yeah. OK, well, what about Kelly's comments around Ruben Love? He's saying, throw him in, take him to South Africa and put him amongst the big boys. Bonzo from Wellington says, Cam Roigard, Ruben Love, Geordie and Billy, are they the halves and centres for the All Blacks going forward? Is that our spine, Beef?
Well, I mean, we'll dive deeper into this later, but I mean, it wouldn't surprise you. I mean...
Do you keep club combinations together?
Oh, to a level, though. I mean, these boys play 15 games together anyway, like as far as Roy Guard getting in. But yeah, it helps.
It's nice to have, Mills,
it's nice
right?
to have,
it's nice to have the fact they've been in camp together, playing together for 6 months now, and they're going into playoff rugby together as well. I can't argue with the fact that I think all of those players will be involved in the All Blacks. I think Billy Proctor, he shows so many things about his game across the full 80 minutes. His engine is massive. You can't have this preparation, you're going to sub people off. You need people who can play 80. He's one of those guys. But I think there's something happening. I said this last week. Look, Ruben Love's my guy at 10 right now. He is. I want to see him get the opportunity. I really do.
Oh, and the other thing about those sort of guys, I don't think I've ever seen back play like I have for a very long time in terms of the way they've been playing it, right? They all understand what's needed. Ruben Love, he is running the cutter big. So this is the stuff here he's now starting to produce. We always knew that he can do that. For the last 3 or 4 weeks, since he's been back, man, he has been just controlling the game. We haven't seen any of this. Now he's starting to pick up some opportunities, but he's having a go with it. It's that maturity, Beaver, when he's he's set in the role, he's comfortable with what he's doing, but he's also got guys around him that are prepared to step up when he's not there. Yeah,
well, things like that try last night happen when you're not overplaying your hand. Literally, that opportunity, because of everything else he does in the game, it sort of fell into his lap. And he sometimes, as good a runner he is, he's almost a reluctant runner because he's got so much else going on outside him. But as you're right, not overplaying his hand and going from strength to strength.
Look, I know we're getting told to move on, but I need to read you this comment from Jono from Otago. Moorby reminds me of Richard Kahui in 2011. Safe under the high ball, seems to make things happen still. Doesn't seem like out-and-out X-Factor, but he will make things happen.
I'll just write that down. Not out-and-out X-Factor. I'll be sending that.
You'll be sending it. You can
I've always said it, but now I've got a second opinion.
Thanks, Jono. Keep sending through those comments on your show. We want you to get involved in the conversation. This is just as much your show as it is ours. It's time for Quick Ball. That's when we give these guys 3 quick topics and we expect some quick fire answers. So firstly, Scott Barrett hasn't been cited for the Crusaders all season. Of course, he was on sabbatical, expected to return, but a niggly back injury is keeping him out and it doesn't sound like we will see him over the next couple of weeks. So is anyone concerned with his injury and his body, Jeff, ahead of the All Blacks season?
No, not at all, because these guys are conditioned. He was ready to go, and unfortunately, a collision or a contact at training. But I heard he was in great nick. He's come back fantastically well from his previous operation around his ankle, I think it was. But for me, no issues whatsoever. 2 years ago, Sam Cane came back into the All Black environment after playing in Japan. His first game was against the Springboks, and he had no problems at all going out there competing. This guy is an outstanding athlete. I'm confident he'll be ready to go.
I'm not worried at all. I think it's that, an injury obviously coming back, you're going to get some of those. Am I worried also about what he's going to produce in the black jersey? No, I think he's definitely there. He's got a big engine, his work rate's sort of high, even those. And then having a sabbatical where you're not sort of playing, I think that's going to be really beneficial, so I'm not worried at all.
OK, number 2 for you, and we've got some vision to back this one up, Beav. I'm going to come to you.
Yes.
Do we in New Zealand have a kicking problem? Broad statement.
Broad, very broad. No,
Tight enough for us.
I mean, here's some not so good at kicks from the weekend, but you could go through any stage of rugby and there's always going to be kicks for the sake of kicks. And what you're probably meaning more here is the option taking and whether or not the execution is right. But no, we don't have a kicking problem.
Simple as that. OK, well, let's move on then to number 3. We're expecting players to come back from Japan and rejoin the All Blacks at some stage. And I'm talking about a guy who's already been mentioned a number of times, Richie Mo'unga and Shannon Frizzell as well. Now, we know they've got to go into NPC to then become available for the All Blacks. Is the NPC good enough preparation for these guys, or would you bring them straight into the All Blacks camp and environment for training, Jeff? They
need to be with the All Blacks. And I'm talking from experience here, knowing that a training with the All Blacks, 15 minutes of 15 on 15 versus an NPC game, multiple NPC games, you'll get so much more benefit out of that in terms of preparation. So the sooner that a Shannon Frizzell, a Richie Mo'unga can get into the environment to prepare themselves for what is going to be coming up for them, because they've been contracted to play in big games, it'll be so much more beneficial. So for me, even before they have to play this NPC game, so they're available, get them into training, get them in, whether it's as part of the...
Are they allowed? Are they allowed to train with the All Blacks? Why not?
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? Now, the fact is you might have to pay them, but that's an investment in them getting back on the field sooner rather than later. To me, I'm just talking from experience here, Mills. You guys have been there. Some of those Thursday trainings, some of those Tuesday trainings, when you go at it and you're competing for, I suppose, a little bit of an edge, a little bit of a spot, but for what's coming up, the All Black environment is the perfect place for these guys to get ready.
Put them in there. Put them in the environment. What's the benefit of taking this rule that you've got to play in NPC? It's our own rule. You know, it's not a global rule. Come on. I mean, you put them in there. Okay, the benefit of them going back to NPC is they're going to be around the guys in that environment, young up-and-comers. But the other side of that too, they're going to take up guys' spots only to what? Tick a box so they can go to South Africa? I think they need to be in the environment. You're doubling up on this, and it's a rule that we can actually change. So I'm dumbfounded as to why they just don't roll with it. They're coming back, and they're going to be in the All Blacks environment. Don't get me wrong. So why do they need to tick this box when it's our rule?
Oh, when you're talking about what Goldie was touching on there, the Tuesday, Thursday training, for someone that used to be in the tackle bags and running against this guy, the level of anxiety you can get by running up against that quality and being there to do a job, it's the most nervous you'll get for a training.
The speed you're operating at those trainings, right? That's elite. And you're talking about some of those trainings were tougher than test matches I played against some other countries, against other nations. We played a trial game before we went to Rugby World Cup in '99, and it was the most brutal in terms of preparation because we knew our pool was going to be a little bit soft. It was brutal before we went there. Closed doors, and the two teams went at it.
But it's the planning too. It's not just that. It's being in the environment and planning to go out and implement some of those things on the training pitch so they can really go full noise. That's the stuff they're going to miss out on, and it's high intensity stuff.
Let's be honest, the only reason why they're going back to the NPC is to tick a box, to say, yes, they've done it, now they're available, because they've been overseas.
Adapt. Get with the program. Seriously. There
you go, Jeff said it. We asked you the question on Scott Barrett's fitness. Are you concerned about the conditioning? Are you concerned about that back injury? 37% of you are saying absolutely. 34% said it's definitely something to keep an eye on. Look, we hope, fingers crossed, that he does show up at some stage in Super Rugby and that the back just becomes a non-issue. If you missed anything from across the weekend of the great interviews and the great work that was said and done in Super Rugby, here is They Said It.
There's kids round at Super Rugby Pacific.
Say a massive shout out to all the kids that came out tonight. Sorry if it was past your bedtime.
Goodness gracious me, what's happened there? That is welcome to Christchurch, everyone.
This is little Miley, our little girl. She's 4 months.
Not too sure. We're going to go to Mum. Oh, the rescue. She's gorgeous, mate. She's gorgeous. How are you enjoying that?
Yeah, no, it's the best. It's the best. Can't wait to get home every day. It's slack. Hey, you're on TV.
There's a bit of...
Hey.
Bit of spice out there.
Hey, mate, listen, I know he slapped you in the face, but don't use, language on that. It's kids around.
And there is one of the selectors.
Bitter, yeah.
What are you saying right now?
I like that Ruben Love.
Okay, so guys, it's going to be a no try.
What did you make of that call?
Trials, eh? Far out. Give it to me. Come on.
So there's separation there to knock on.
It's great to see so many smiles around the crowd. People are just loving this.
Just on behalf of the Western Force and Rugby Union family, we just want to send all of our love and best wishes to Jaiara and all of his beautiful family.
Hey Brumbies, Declan and Bobby here. I just want to say thanks for the support so far this year. Come out next week, last home game of the year, and then into the finals.
Moana family, thank you so much for attending and supporting us.
This is my last home game for Moana Pacifica, and to all our people, thank you very much.
What'd you make of his little telling off, mate? Look, I can see that little smirk on your face.
Sorry to everyone out there, but yeah, that's not on. I'll take that on the chin. That's my bad. I got to be better.
We didn't put in the actual moment that Ruben Love is talking about there, an interaction with the opposition halfback for the Highlanders, and then Angus Gardner telling him off, Millsy. We were there. You were in commentary, so you heard that loud and clear through the ref's mic.
Look, I know what he said wasn't right, but I loved it. I mean, you're in the heat of the moment. Telling someone he sucks. I've heard a lot worse things, but there was a lot of niggle in there, and that's part of the game, right? And these days, obviously, you got the ref's mic. It was a bit close, but I don't mind that stuff.
It's just taken a slap in the face. I mean, I'd see red too then if that sort of happened. I would have. The fact that we were lucky, to be fair. There was no microphones on our field, and there was plenty of banter.
Much worse?
Oh, much worse than that. But in terms of that,
was it always dishing out the banter?
Mertens was a shocker. And for a guy who got nowhere near contact like I did, what a waste of energy and time and words, because he was never going to take action on anything. You know, it was the fact from a distance he's always yap. And most referees always turned around because Mertz was always chipping the refs about everything. But that would made him a competitor. And that's what you're talking about. That's what Ruben Love is. Yeah. He's a competitor. That man wants to win. OK, well, on Mertz, let's stick with the Crusaders. Bev, you were down there. That is 3 from 3 for the Crusaders at their new home, One New Zealand Stadium. 3 straight sellouts as well. We've got to talk about that. Not just the quality of match, but the crowd down there, the fact that they are turning up, that is 75,000 people across 3 weekends.
Oh, it's remarkable. They are adding to the occasion. We did a halftime show, and usually at halftime it goes into a bit of a lull. The noise there, you could not hear each other. And, I mean, we said to each other when we were down there, it's even tough to believe that a couple of months ago we weren't there. It just feels so incredible. And I don't know, I didn't have to have the big jacket down there either. It's quite warm in there. There must be heaters in there or something. It's brilliant, but what a facility. And
what they're creating already. I mean, we talk about Fortress at their last 2 stadiums, but they're already starting to head in that direction there.
Yeah, the horses are back and everything else around it. I mean,
one hit the deck, actually, though. Yeah, one got on the field and got a bit of a spook and fell over, and they had to get it out to the side. So, I mean, that's something that it was a foreign environment for a lot of those horses. Young one didn't handle it well. But it was pretty cool.
That's great. I mean, even the shots outside it while the game's... usually you see a car park full of cars. There's no cars, you know, there's no cars because it's a city in itself. It's not just the stadium.
But hold on, we're talking about this like the Crusaders dominated this game. The Chiefs had it there for the taking. If Josh Jacob catches a ball and kicks it 50 metres down the park, it would have been a hell of a lot harder for the Crusaders to go on and win this game. So you talk about this fortress, and yes, I think the defending champions have announced that, hey. You guys hadn't forgot about them a week ago. And this prepared you. You prepared yourself for this just in case that you didn't win. But this was the Chiefs' game to lose after they took control of it for me, Mills, Beaver, and they'll be bitterly disappointed. Yes, it may not have meant anything in regards to the table, but ultimately, this was a game they should have won.
A game of momentum. Like, we talked to Rob Penny post-game about it, and I said, like, at times you felt like, well, that team's going to kick away and win this by 20. Yeah. And then it was the other team was going to kick away. And they sort of highlighted it. Very tough to arrest momentum, it would appear, when these top teams go there, and they can literally have it for 10 minutes or until they get points. And then it's your turn to maybe get some field position, because all these teams, these top teams, when they get inside that 30, they are all pretty similar in how they execute to get points. There were some outstanding performances across the board on Friday night, must be said, but one guy in particular rose up in the final 15 minutes. David Havili. Where are his stocks in New Zealand rugby at the moment? He's been in the All Blacks, he's been out of the All Blacks, he's captain of this team. Where is he at? Because he basically won the game for the Crusaders. Oh, I guess it comes down to what the coaches want on it, because he hasn't changed. I mean, to be fair, in the first encounter between these two teams, he single-handedly won it. I thought he got them off the canvas and Will Jordan and Hamilton months ago. This, what was it, a 2020? The most remarkable kick you've seen, and just his physicality now, and I don't know, it's literally going to come down to what they want in their midfield, but his form hasn't really dipped, cursed, but he's outstanding at the moment.
He's a big-time player.
Yeah.
If you think of all those finals where he has been the leader and actually stepping up, it's unfortunate in the black jersey because he's had so much competition and the way the coach has been wanting to play. But he's always been there. I love the way David Havili plays. I love his mindset. I love that he takes on those sort of big moments, but he's got the skill set to be able to execute at the same time. When he first came on, he was a full-back wing, and then he sort of got into that sort of mode. And it's unfortunate the last few years when he has been an All Black, there's been a lot of competition in that position.
He's had a lot of really strong games for the Crusaders at 12. It's never quite realised itself at the next level because I don't think he's had a consistent period in the black jersey playing in that position. And I think how he's been used in his skill set in the past probably hasn't suited him. He's such a good ball player. He's not a player you should use for his physicality. You use him for his variety and his skill set. And I think for me, it's one, I don't know if he's available. There's been a lot of rumours whether or not he could be heading offshore. So I'm not sure about that. I'll do a bit more digging around that one. But if he's available for selection, then he has to, with performances like that, has to be considered.
I just want to talk to you about a question that's come in here from Rory. Can Christian Leo Willie be an answer to the number 6 jersey? I mean, he was another brilliant performer on the weekend, but so were all of those Lucies that were on the field.
Yeah, that was, to me, this was a great game of rugby because, you know, and I genuinely, when I think attack and defence, I think what your loose forwards can do in the tackle, and then when they're carrying the ball, Leo Willie was really good, Satiti was really strong, Sammy Penny-Finau had one of his best games. Oh, look, Luke Jacobson just was Luke Jacobson, just does what he does. So for me, Christian Leo Willie had a couple of really nice games for the All Blacks last year, and then sort of went into the wilderness and wasn't seen again.
How do you pick the Lucies?
I don't have to.
So
it's not my job. It's not our job. It's the All Black. It's Sir Graham Henry's job. That's his job. He can do that. But it's not easy right now. Not easy.
I think one thing that is starting to become evident is the 6s and 8s are starting to understand what that role is. You know, and particularly around the ball carry. You know, they're winning. They're dominating that ball carry area. They're getting across the game line. The one thing I would have to say is defensively. That's probably one area that we haven't quite seen someone really dominate and go out there and dominate in itself when it comes to the 6 and 8 position. But I'm loving what I'm seeing, and they're going to have, man, it's a position that they are going to have massive headaches on.
I want to highlight something out of this game, though, because this is something that's come in over the last few years, and hookers are trying to jump the gun. And I just want to talk about Samisoni Taukei'aho, but he's not the only hooker doing this in the game right now. It's happening all around the world. So their team gets a penalty. So what they do is they try and cheat to get to the line out. If we watch here, he's 30 metres ahead of the kick, but this kick doesn't find touch. So he's offside, and now he's got to decide, what do I do? Oh, I'll drop that ball, I'll put my hands up, and now I'll get into defensive line. That should have been a 2-on-1. This, if you're watching, referees around the world should not be allowed. I know they're trying to speed up the game. They're thinking about preparing for the line-out throw. But I've seen Cody Taylor. I'm seeing all the hookers doing it now. Oh, this will find touch. When it doesn't find touch, it happened right in front of me. I said, oh, he's in trouble here. What's he going to do? Now, if he'd made a tackle, now imagine that's in the 80th minute of the game. They've got to stop that. It's got to go. If you want to do that, you've got to go from where the kick takes place, because if it doesn't go out, you're offside. He was miles offside. Absurd for me that somehow this has crept into everywhere around the world. Springboks are unbelievable at it.
I was going to say, Goldie, you mentioned they're trying to speed up the game. Look, I saw some teams at the World Cup who have no interest in speeding up the game, and they were great exponents of it. I think it's just a nice dawdle for the hooker to have a bit of a breather.
Well, finally someone got caught out. I feel for Samisoni, but it was like, oh dear, what do I do here?
I agree. That's an opportunity there. You know, they come back and they could skim them down that sort of blind side. I mean, technically he's not offside because he's outside, and then he got put onside. But you've got to be exhausted to actually sprint up.
Start behind the kicker.
Yeah, I agree, mate. Yep.
Seriously.
Look, I've got another couple of comments for you. I know you said it's not your job to pick the All Blacks Lucies, but look, here are another few names when you talk about depth at any of those positions, 6, 7 or 8. Jamie Hanna, TK Harding, Rampling, Casey. The depth, Jeff, goes on and on, as Michael's pointing out.
It's everywhere.
Yeah.
But you can't pick everybody.
That's right.
And international form in the black jersey before does actually count for quite a bit. I think not just Super Rugby form.
What it's created with bringing a coach like Dave Rennie is it's a clean slate. Yep. You know, and so it's anyone's really. But the good thing is, you know, we've got some great depth.
We do have some great depth. Well, I tell you what, if you are following Liam Lawson, and you should be, in the Formula One Road Show tomorrow morning, 7:55 a.m. Don't miss it. It is the Canadian Grand Prix live on Sky.
Little chip through to player after it, gathers it, sends it away. Finau is there, he'll score. They're going to win a penalty here, the Blues. They get a chance, they're up. Clark first receiver, now Barrett decides the kick pass to the other side. Bounce! Oh, what a put down that is for Cody Boyd!
Here goes Love, Ruben Love. Brilliant individual try, scored by Ruben Love.
No, my Hockey Mike, welcome back to the breakdown. Beaver is over at the wall. He hasn't disappeared. We haven't kicked him out of the show. I teased it that the best analysis you have ever seen is coming right up on the show. I've never seen this man work so hard. Over the last week, he was in here at Sky for hours on end trying to find the best footage possible. He is going to go over the differences between the 3 first fives in New Zealand. We are talking about the experienced Beauden Barrett, the newbie, relative newbie anyway, Ruben Love, and the magic man, Damian McKenzie. We've got a poll for you. We want you to have your say. Have your say right now. Who do you think should be the starting 10 against the French for the All Blacks in what, just over 5 weeks' time? One of these three or somebody else. Please vote. And then we'll see whether or not they trust you, Beav, and they've changed their opinion. Who are you starting off with today?
Well, thanks, Kirst. I'd have preferred if we had under-promised and over-delivered, but thanks for the intro. We're going to start with Ruben Love. And for me, with all the great things happening in the Hurricanes attack, Ruben Love is central to this. The first clip I'm going to show you here is the squareness and depth that Ruben plays at. He runs square, he goes deep into the line. What does this do? It means it fixes the Blues' inside channels, which means they can't rush off and hound the outside guys. So just have a look at this and you'll see just how square he is, and the ability to pass at pace with that sort of width is not something that everyone can do. We go a little bit further into Ruben's attacking game, and it's his ability in what you call shape and structure. And for him, his ability, again, very similar to the set-piece clip you just saw, but his ability to get square, again, coming out the back of shape. What does this do? It means if there's an opportunity like you're seeing there, a gap like that, he is looking down the field. He's not looking laterally at his forwards outside him. He's seen an opportunity, he can take it, he's in a position to take it. Also, if he passes the ball to his forwards, because he's so square, he's fixed the inside, and it means they get weak channels. And another thing, a part of Ruben's attacking play this year, but it has been noticeable, here's just one clip of it. Teams are trying to shut him down. Teams are trying to rush him. His speed of hand to get the ball away, even under extreme pressure. Here's an example of it. You've seen this plenty of times this year. He has quick hands, even under huge pressure. That is not an easy task, considering the width that he had to pass the ball at. And finally, game management. Now, there's bigger things to come for the Hurricanes as far as managing a game. This is, to be fair, their biggest game and their tightest game. They did end up losing this. But this, for me, shows where his head was at. With 10 minutes to go, he was realising that it wasn't on for the Hurricanes at this time, and he just calmly, coolly runs one in for the Hurricanes 22. Yep, game management, still probably a box to tick, but that'll happen when they've got quarterfinals, semi-finals and finals to come.
Beaver, I've got to ask a question with all of that then. Fantastic.
How was
that? But 2 months ago,
come on.
2 months ago, were you considering this, and considering Ruben Love as your lead 10 for the All Blacks right now? Because I know he wasn't convinced. You weren't convinced. What's changed? Or is it just simply that he looks the more complete footballer now?
Well, it's tough to find a fault, isn't it? I mean, every week he is going out there and he is putting all this on the park for the best rugby team. As Millsy said, we're seeing back play that we haven't seen for a long, long time. Yes, I can't go away from the fact that there is going to be 2 or 3 massive weeks in Ruben's development. But at the moment, you just can't question what he's putting out there.
Does it help having a 10 when you know the All Blacks 9 you've played with for the whole season, most likely the 12 as well? Well,
his relationship with Cameron Roigard, it goes off the field as well, I can see, but that helps. If you're in a position with a 9 that you can look, you can just wink, you don't always, he knows what you're trying to get out of him, that is a blessing, Kirst. That is something that you just can't put a price on. Next one we've got is, of course, the magic man you mentioned earlier, Kirst, Damian McKenzie. Now, there's so much to Damian's game, obviously, but one of his greatest physical attributes is the threat of his speed. And he's using this, I wish he used it more, but here, first receiver, what does this do? It sucks out the drill defence because they're in panic stations. Quickly, with a change of angle, they make a poor decision. We'll just hold it up there, and this is just another example of Damian McKenzie showing. Well, that was actually a clip that wasn't supposed to be in there, but we'll carry on. if we just go back to
the start. What, a 10 making a tackle? That was unheard of.
He's trying to show me up here. But we're just going back to the start there. His pace makes defenders make poor decisions. But Drua, they got sucked out of that line out, and because he goes so fast, when he decides to go at the line, he frees them up. This flows in beautifully to his passing game. He has great hands too, like we've highlighted with Ruben Love. But look at this. I think it's Flanders out there in the 6th jersey for the Hurricanes. He's nervous about Damien. He pops out and he leaves a big hole for Josh Lord to just pour into. Again, it's the aspect of Damien's pace with the ball. It's his ability to throw passes and react to what's presented to him from the defence. The other thing you can't hide from the fact is the kid lives in moments. He wants moments. This one here, we're about to lose for the first time against Scotland, but not on Leicester's and Damien's watch, they say. And this ball gets to Damien, and yes, you might think that that's nothing. He's putting himself in position. He beats a couple of guys, somehow gets that down. There's whole lots of parts of his career littered with it. And the other big thing for Damian McKenzie, which I'll stand by, it's a big statement, but I think he's our finest pressure goal kicker in this country. And again, we've seen this time and time again for the Chiefs at FMG, but here in the All Black jersey, that was to put this one to bed on full time where Scotland was coming home. This one was to beat England at Twickenham about 12 months ago. Might have been a little bit longer. But the other thing, Damian McKenzie, his relationship with Dave Rennie, not for favouritism, but I just feel from having watched Damien very closely for 10 years, I think Rennie knows what gets the best out of him, Millsy. For me, he's well and truly in the conversation.
I'm glad you brought that up, because that's what the one thing that sort of stands out between him and Ruben Love is the fact that relationship. And you're a 10, you're going into those meetings with your coaches and you're planning the week ahead. You're planning what's gone wrong, but also equally you're planning what's gone right. And so where does that sit then when you look at a Damian McKenzie who's already got an established relationship for someone like Ruben Love? You know, does Dave Rennie need to establish it? And has he? Do you think he has already done that now?
Well, I mean, of course, it's not a negative on Ruben, but it's just that he can get the best out of someone like Damian McKenzie. And you know what it's like. If you've got a coach who knows you well, he knows what buttons to push, he knows what you can't do. You know, and sometimes you go into an environment where a coach is asking you something you can't do. But that's not this situation. And if you look at Dave Rennie historically, one of our co-workers was a long time first five with him and trusted him with everything. So there is history there.
OK, what about the third and final first five then, Beef?
Yes, the third and final and is our most capped option is Beauden Barrett. Now, with defence the way it is, he has something that I put above the other two, and that is the creativity and bravery around his kicking game. We've got 2 clips in a row here of Beauden Barrett's kicking game that leads to 2 tries. And again, you might think, well, isn't that what a first five does? He is under extreme pressure there. He gets the ball across flat. And then here he is setting up a try. Now, it's the Beauden Barrett package that means these happen, because what are defence doing, Kirst? They're looking at him passing. They're looking at him running. But Beauden Barrett has the skill set, has the bravery. I can't sort of highlight that enough. The bravery to pull the trigger on that because he's so confident in what he does. You couple that fact in that he's got the kicking game, he's got the pace. His ball playing is probably undervalued in a lot of people's eyes. The threat of Bodie means people make poor decisions. We saw the Hurricanes doing that on Damien. Here, this angle here shows Fihaki out here. Fihaki, very good footballer, nervous about what Beauden Barrett's doing. Pops out of the line. What does that do? Zane Sutherland straight through a big hole. Plenty of clips that could have shown you on this. And then there's something that I'm going to call the Bodie factor. I don't know how else to explain it, but it's Beauden Barrett. Things happen around this guy. He makes things happen. Here he is. He's come on the bench. England, the fortress was going to get broken, turns the game, leads the All Blacks to a famous victory at Eden Park. Here, just things happen. Balls fall in his lap. It's not luck. He's in the picture. He's always there with blind pace that can do it. And the thing that we haven't got a clip for, and you can't explain it, but experience. Experience. He's been to winning World Cups. He's been in moments where it hasn't worked out. And don't just say, oh, well, he was there in this World Cup when it didn't work or what have you. That's an experience to go back on and go forward with. So that's one thing that he will always have. OK,
look, you've been talking for about 7 minutes straight.
Just about to faint.
But I'm not going to give you a breather. Look, that was exceptional, but I've got a question for you. I noted down a few things that you said. All 3 of these players are incredibly instinctive players, all magical players that can have moments to change a game, right? But what about those key things that you talked about? Goal kicking, international experience, decision-making, game management. What are the most important factors for a first five for the All Blacks at international level?
Well, the goal kicking, when you look at it, goal kicking's going to be huge. So you've got to be able to bank on someone being able to goal kick. The game management thing, and Millsy and Goldie, you'll have an opinion about this. Is it what it used to be? With teams so structured in how we play, is everyone not so across on how you're going that I don't know if There's decision-making from a 10 point of view that it used to be where you're making 100 decisions on where you're going around the park. The big thing around game management, Kirst, for me is calling the right stuff at the right time and knowing when to hold back or when to go forward and say, right, no, we just got to get down here at all costs and we'll live to fight another day.
What do you think?
Look, it's a fascinating debate because I've got Damien McKenzie at fullback, you see, because
so
I love the skill set he shows there. I've got Ruben Love at 10. I said this last week. Those two players, to me, you combine them, their skill sets and the way that they're playing the game right now, the confidence they have that they're playing with, I see them as the players that Dave Rennie will inspire to play a brand of rugby that we haven't played for a long time.
Okay, everyone is saying, what about Richie Mo'unga? Didn't have time to do Richie Mo'unga when you're
That's
almost...
another show.
When you're almost fainting.
That's a whole other show.
You're almost fainting from 3 players. He couldn't add a 4th in there and obviously not available to play against the French. Look, if you missed a big game of rugby this morning, what an occasion. The European Cup Champions final between Bordeaux and Leinster. Here's everything you may have missed.
They are the best of the best in European rugby. So much history for Leinster in this competition, 4 titles all time, but it's...
There is no doubt Bordeaux are good. That is back-to-back Kings of Europe. Big Ben Tamiafuna wins another title. There are a couple of Kiwis involved. Salisi Rayasi playing at fullback for Bordeaux as well. I tell you what, Jeff, they do it well over there. You got to admit, when you see the scenes...
What a party that's going to be. How do you feel as though if you're Leinster? What do you got to do? How many is that straight now?
Five straight losses in the final.
Runners. Just Ireland coming up short again. That's all it is.
You said it not beat this time.
I look forward to seeing Jeff all over podcasts in Ireland this week.
Look, it is. That looked awesome, right? I mean, a great celebration of the game. That competition, clearly, of the highest level.
It's a good comp.
It's a good comp? Okay.
It's a good competition, apparently. Tongue-in-cheek said with. But these French teams are really good, right? Yeah. And we have them in our first game of the year in 5.5 weeks' time.
Yeah, but it'd be interesting what team they bring also at the same time, right? I mean, they've rested a lot of players, but they have got some depth, and they don't mind playing a style. I mean, the weather's a little bit warmer now, and fantastic place to play. But the French are going to be a big threat, so I'm actually looking forward to what sort of team they bring.
They almost tipped us up. A couple of years ago, they brought out a team that we didn't probably give enough credit to, and they can play.
I tell you what, it's not just rugby on the calendar. For all you football fans, the final day of the Premier League is happening overnight. Yes, it's very early, but you'll want to get up to make sure your team avoids relegation. Some big teams in there as well.
After 36 games to 180 minutes plus, 2 chances for West Ham United to save themselves.
West Ham fans, on the day, on Sunday, they'll be glued to their phones, obviously looking at the Tottenham score.
Be aware of what's happening in the other stadiums. We cannot go away from that.
There's no doubt, though, that this is a final for Spurs on Sunday.
Yeah, you can improve, but no, not in this way.
You'd want to be in Spurs' position because you're controlling your own destiny.
A replay of last year's final and still plenty to play for. It's the Crusaders against the Chiefs. Trying to work his way through the defence and midfield as McLeod. Havili gets it away, and the pass from Jordan, Johnny McNichol. Pass away to Havili, will it calm. Sends it deep. That's a great kick. That's a potential 50-22. What a kick by David Havili. Vainga Anuku, he's right in the mix of it. Gets the ball away to Havili. David Havili scores. Crusaders back in front.
And the Hurricanes looking to lock up that top spot. The Landers, plenty of pride at stake.
Lurking out on the right wing side, even though he's wearing 15. That's where he's been most of the season. And what a good run this is. Still going, Josh Moorby. Got his pass away. And Karithi. And Ari swings it away. A lovely delivery. And Naholo grabs his second try.
Okay, so look, if you can work out what is going to happen in the first round of the playoffs, you're an absolute genius. Here is the top 6 as it stands, and it will not change. The teams in it will not change. The order may. Not 1 and 2. The Hurricanes and the Chiefs are locked in. But I guess where things start to get interesting is if the Hurricanes and Chiefs decide to rest players going into the final round. If they don't, if they put out their top teams, they obviously go in as the favourites, so most likely results would mean the Brumbies and the Reds would jump into 3rd and 4th. Blues and Crusaders would drop down to 5th and 6th, Jeff. But it's so hard to know this early in the week when we don't know what these teams are doing.
Yeah, and the question is, and I'm not sure about you guys, but I would rest some key players if they needed some recovery time, if they needed to be, I suppose, a bit fresher for that first round of the playoffs, particularly if you're 1 and 2, where you've got essentially a life as that lucky loser. So I wouldn't be rushing Cam Roigard back, even if he's ready.
He's ready.
I wouldn't. Well, I wouldn't be playing him.
I
wouldn't be playing him. He's too important for the Hurricanes. I wouldn't be playing Damian McKenzie if he's available. No point. Pointless exercise. Why put him at risk? If there are other players who need a break and you've got some depth to give some people an opportunity. So for me, in terms of anticipating the weekend, I'm waiting to Wednesday team namings, and then I'll start looking at those matchups because they're two massive derbies.
What do you think's going to happen? I mean, what's the most likely results here, and are we going to see the top teams go at it in the last round?
Well, I mean, you've also got to consider that most New Zealand teams have had a run of about 3 or 4 derbies anyway.
That's why the Canes will most likely rest. They've had 8 games.
But also, when you look at the Chiefs, for example, they've probably got 3 or 4, I would almost say, first pick backs who haven't played for about a month. You know, and wonder whether, they'll give them an opportunity this week, which would probably mask what the team actually looks like a little bit. But, well, if you're the top 2, absolutely. I mean, yes, we want to watch derbies, big derbies, but the bigger prize, they will have to rest, I'd say.
They weren't resting guys. No one's going to care about this game later on if you don't win the final. They should be preparing for a final, and they've earned the right to. And so I think, to your point, if there's guys that are bordering on that haven't played too many minutes, but they're starting to get back, they'll probably only play 40-odd minutes or so. I'd rest the guys that are sort of, and for me, really, it's probably the loosies. A lot of those the loosies who go far out. They've gone through a lot of work, man.
So if you finish 1-2, you don't really want the Crusaders.
You
don't want the Crusaders and the Blues to drop down to 4 and 5 and 6, do you?
So you need them to actually
you actually need, it's a really interesting one. You still want to play and you want to play well, but you don't want to end up having those guys in that first round, that knockout round. So it's a very interesting weekend.
Okay, well, what about team of the weekend? Breakdown team of the week. You've all made your picks. Jeff, you had type 5 this week.
Well, yeah, I'm so excited, excited about it. And I went a little bit deeper than just putting the Hurricanes type 5 up there like Millsy did. Is that what you did last week? And don't get they were great, but I thought Bauer and Taylor had a big shift, played 80 minutes, I thought was really, really strong. Pasili Otossi, though, I think has been a big mover for me over the course of the season. Had to play some big minutes because Tyrell Lomax has been out. Jamie Hanna scored a nice try. He's a mover. And I think Josh Lord is incredibly impactful in so many ways for the Chiefs. Particularly, he sort of dismantled and put pressure on at line-out time for the Crusaders and took that asset away from them. So there was some just nice things from some players, once again, backing it up.
Beaver, a lot of yellow. A lot of yellow.
A lot of yellow in my selections. Yossé was eye-catching. Again, but he really stood out for me from the capital. And Sammy Penifine, probably his best performance for a long time. It was somewhat of a forgotten man when we talk about all these loose forwards. That first, and look, it's got to qualify, that first 30 minutes when the Chiefs were absolutely at their physical best, he was carrying every sort of 3 or 4 rucks. And he was coming from a long way back and not somewhere I would have wanted to be, Millsy.
Where were your selections, Millsy?
Oh, yeah, I've gone David Harvey. I've gone on tradition that Beaver started, that you remove a second 5 out to
I was going to say,
Rover was...
Yeah, well, that's standard now. You sort of move them out. And so I've kind of moved them, Sevu Reece and Kenny Nahola on the other side. And, of course, Moorby. The one thing I would say in your selection, Goldie, I thought Ethan de Groot played really well.
When he came on.
Oh. And so...
had to come on early too.
Yeah, they came on early. They were supposed to start, right?
Angus Tutterville did the same. They rolled them in about the 35th minute mark, and it was a different game when they were out there. So those two did well.
What about Kenny Nahola? 3 games, 5 tries.
That's what
coming off an ACL
if you're
injury.
A winger and you're playing for the Hurricanes, you're going to score tries. That's what I love about it.
That's the team you want to play for.
Exactly. That's why I love black and yellow.
You'll start singing
the Crusaders last week, Hurricanes this week. I mean, you got it covered, brother. You got it covered. You got everything covered.
It'll be about blue there next week.
Blues Chiefs. Blues Chiefs. Who wins?
Blues.
You can't lose either
way. The Mullaina Cup.
Chiefs. The neutral? Who? Chiefs, Blues?
Blues.
There you go. They've had their say.
Desperate Blues.
I hope you have yours too. Enjoy the weekend. We'll see you next week.